like all these things, like the Cat Williams thing, the alien thing, the uh the what was the first thing? Oh, Epstein files. So all these things really make me think of us more like an organism.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like we don't know what's right or wrong, or maybe there's no right or wrong. We're just moving as this horde. And I finished this book called The Ape That Understood the Universe. And I thought it was going to be about like actual evolution, because that's what the person this is again, it's like, what do you take away from a book, bro? So like the person was like, who recommended the book, like I just saw a podcast on it. They're like, oh, this is the best evolution book I've read. It like made sense to me. So I was like, oh, cool, evolution, like Big Bang
Right.
Theory,
Right.
let's find out. And it was not at all about that. Like maybe like 2 seconds about that, but I was like, that's not actually the takeaway of the book.
Mm-hmm.
The main point of the book is that we govern our lives through memes. And an important part, I sent you those 2 pictures, right, of like the passages
Yeah.
I highlighted. And the thing that it said was like, when we think of memes, we think of like jokes or things we send to each other. But meme is like short for mnemonic, and it's like a memory tool.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is a meme. Like how you tie your shoes, how we do this podcast. It's just like encoded information that we could pass on.
Right.
Okay. And what he was saying is that human beings are collectively powerful, right? We individually don't know how to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
wire a car, right? There's something wrong with my car. I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know what it is. Tara's like, YouTube it. So I tapped into the collective knowledge, which is the internet, and then I was able to figure out a solution for the car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's the superpower of our race. Individually, we are not very like strong, but collectively we can tap into each other's knowledge base, and that allows us to do great things.
Right.
Think of science, right? You need like Newton's thing, and then that's
Sure.
like Einstein's thing, right? They're always building on another. Okay. So one thing that it said though was memes, like they live in your mind, and it's not about the truest meme. It's about the most replicable meme.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we are as human beings. Because like reproduction is a very sought after thing, right? You're like, oh, I want to build a family, right? That's like the apex of what we're told to believe, right? And what he was saying is it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the most reproducible.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I post that, it's so weird. Like I think he reposted the author. Like I put it on Twitter, and then Twitter's getting like the craziest engagement. I love that Elon Musk just like opened it up, because now I'm like, how did these people all of a sudden, like the traffic's picked up, you
Right.
know? But okay, so he reposted it, and then somebody commented like, oh, this is the most like pig-headed idea, right? Just saying it's like not the survival of the fittest, the survival of the most replicable. But it's true though.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's saying is like, that's why we peacock. Like
Yeah.
if I don't need to have like all of the flashiest clothes. I don't need to own them. I just need to make you think I own them.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you think I own them, you're going to want to reproduce in me.
Right.
So I'm not the fittest specimen. Like I don't have all the money, I don't have all these things, but I've convinced you I'm replicable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it makes you think about the whole line, like Elon Musk said it. And I didn't get it till I read this book. The one who rules the memes rules the world.
Mm. Yeah, I remember he said that. Yeah.
Right? And you're like, oh, okay, that's funny. Like they're just like funny jokes. And it's like, no, like mnemonics, not actual jokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like who rules the knowledge rules the world.
Right.
And it's like with the Epstein thing, with the Cat Williams thing, with the alien thing, it's like sifting between what's real and fake, what's genuine information is so difficult that it's not about what's the best, it's what's the most marketable.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's freaking me out too. Because I'm like, wait a minute. What's going on here? And
Mm-hmm.
that's why we talk about commercialization of the art. That's why like genius ideas are not being picked up. It's like maybe it's all about who you know, not what you know. We've been told that forever.
Yeah.
And I was
Right.
like, there's no way that that's true. You know? Or maybe like or maybe it's I don't know how to like put this, but it's like maybe it's like a saltiness aspect of me, but it's like why do I have to work 2 times harder for somebody with half the level of skill to be over me?
Mm-hmm.
Because like everyone's like, well, you're just so skilled, but it's like you had to work this hard just for to be under you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, is that how the world works? It's just like I can convince you that I can get it done. It's not like my track record is amazing, but my bullshitter ability is not.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that like that's how a lot of people get into power. It's just who's the best BSer.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
The one
Sometimes,
right?
yeah.
No, but you see it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh dude, that person's not qualified for that. But they have that position. How'd they get the position? Connections, BS ability,
Mm-hmm.
all that. Why are politicians like random sometimes? Why are we just like I don't know, like lying on our issues? Like why would one politician champion one thing and all of a sudden like switch their tune later on? Because it was like not
Viable.
marketable.
Yeah.
You're right, right? So they're like, oh, everyone's into this equality thing right now, so I'm going to jump on the equality bandwagon. We know that that's what politicians do. That's a game that they play,
Sure. Yeah.
right? So it's like maybe that's how the world works.
Yeah.
And if that's true, that's freaky, bro. That's freaky because it's like, oh, that's why we'll never progress as a species. We'll progress up to a point, but we'll always be controlled because it's not about like what you really want to do. It's about what you can make other people believe they should do.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's just survival. This is not like a thing of now, it's a thing of humans.
Yeah, hard facts. That's true. It is not localized to this. It's just a principle of human beings. And that's why I like the book. He took it as an alien perspective. Like the book opens. That's why I was like, oh, is a book about aliens?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if there was an alien race looking at us as a species, it's much like Sapiens did, where like Sapiens was like, I'm looking at you anthropologically.
Right.
Like I'm not a human looking at a human. I'm I'm a scientist looking at humans.
Sure.
So what the book did was like, if I was an alien race, how would I perceive the human race?
Mm-hmm.
And like he was saying that, like, and I summed it up in these, and then I started to like backtrack the thoughts on what I posted because like that might freak people out. Which is like, we live in make believe. Well, let me just pull it up because it was like I wrote it and I was like I posted it, I was like, oh, I don't know, I think people will think I'm crazy.
Whoops.
So I literally
That's
wrote
odd. No, the time that you picked up your phone, I got a text. It was an odd timing.
I text you, bro. Okay, I text you. So it's humans are reproductive machines living in a world of make believe. That's what I wrote as the summation of like the principle of this book, right? And it's freaky because you're like, are we really just that? Are we just reproductive machines? Because that's what he says is like if you don't reproduce, it's kind of just the end of your line.
Yeah.
But what he was saying is that it's not. So like he opens with like a lot of people don't want to have kids, whatever, and like you kill your line that started from the very beginning of time. So you literally like us being here is literally you could trace it back to all the way to the beginning of time.
Sure. Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah, of course.
It's like a broken chain.
Yeah.
Logical, right? And what he's saying is like, don't feel bad though, because many people have died. Like, and you're just one that will die as well. So like, even if you don't have children, like, what if you died in a war? That broke the chain.
Yeah.
You know, what if you died in a plane crash? That broke the chain.
Yeah.
But our chain will never end, is basically what he's saying. So we are literally just reproductive machines. We're just like, let's just reproduce. And then the make-believe part is because once we've reproduced, we've created these like simple lives for ourselves that are cushiony. it's like now we just like make fake things like laws. Like there is no such thing as a law.
Yeah, of course.
Right? And like Full Metal Alchemist, I finished the anime, and one of the scenes that I cut up is like survival brings us closest to the now.
Mm-hmm.
Because what he was saying is like he was like, it doesn't matter. Like in this one scene, he was about to fight somebody to the death, and he's like, "This is when I feel truly alive because our gender, our race, our rank, it's not real. All that matters and is real is I'm going to kill you to survive."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Ooh, that's true." Because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Everything else we just made up. You know, like what is a job? I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just made up.
Yeah.
But when you think at it at this level, then you start unraveling in your mind. You're like, why am I doing these things? And that's the destruction of the species, though.
Yeah, no. I know. It just reminds me of. It just reminds me of this is the thing that I had thought of way before too. Because you know, like I see people just. Because I viewed it like that, like a scientist viewing it as a species. I could see in the mornings everybody's going to the GO train to go to work downtown, and everybody's coming back from. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. This is what I had viewed. I had seen this, and this is. It's like, oh, that's such a weird life. Like you're just following through with, you know, you're just doing the same thing, right, and back and forth every day. But then. Like this is how we have created this world to be, right? Or else we'd be farmers, we'd be like once you watch the documentaries and you see there's other ways of living, but which way do you want to live, right? You got what I'm saying?
100%. And that was even my own journey too, because it was like I also thought that was weird. I was like, dude, that's kind of weird. And you know, that's why I wanted to like freelance for so long. It's like I don't want to join this thing, but then you realize like it's just so much easier. I don't have to chase people down for money. I just get an automatic payment. You know what I mean? I could buy this mic. I could buy this laptop.
Right.
You know, like it's like it's freaky when you think about it, but it's also convenient.
Right.
And that's what we really want. Like people who want to live off grid, like more power to you, bro. Like cool, but you're literally not being a part of the horde.
But it's also a lot more risks with that too, because the people have done that.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Right.
No, people have, but it's like, what's the longevity there, bro?
Yeah.
Like your kids, like, okay, sure, you guys do it. What are your kids gonna do? Not gonna go to school? Not gonna get an iPad? Gonna come back to the world, try and get a job, and be like, I have no idea what tech is.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, you just crippled your kid for the future. You know
but there are some people that do that, right? I think there were some documentaries about that. No. Like some family living out in the
Amish?
Yeah, not just the Amish. Somebody like left the city world and took their family to.
Oh damn!
I think something like that. This feels like an old documentary to me, but like that's an experiment. We'll see what happens with that.